Naruto opened a pet shop in the ninja world. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 326. Although today is only the first day of the second exam, some aggressive students have already started looking for targets. Qing's mission is to monitor the ninjas of Otagakure, and the purpose of their big boss is currently unknown. Bai and his team had the Book of Earth, and when they found out that Qing had the Book of Heaven, they directly gave him their team's Book of Earth. "We'll just go collect another pearl later," Bai said with Qing did not refuse them. "Okay, I will follow Uncle Snake first. If anything happens, you two should be careful." Qing patted Bai Kamamaro's shoulders. "Why are you following me?" Orochimaru glanced at the young man. "Uncle Snake, why do you think I came to take part in the Chunin exam?" Qing shrugged. "Haha, the old man is really getting more and more cowardly. He actually put you in such a small trivial matter," Orochimaru said without looking at him and walked deeper into the forest. There were sounds of fighting and waiting coming from all around. Suddenly, a bunch of bugs fell in front of him, and Qing used chakra to isolate them. "I'm not very good at dealing with ninjas like the Aburame clan." Orochimaru hid his aura and looked at the Byakugan girl, Byain clan. His eyes sparkled. Hinata, with her Byakugan open, shuddered all over, as if she was being stared at by a snake. She looked around and found two other figures, and the amount of chakra in those two people was incomparable to them. "Yeah, Shino, there are others over there, very strong." Hinata broke out in a cold sweat. If they hadn't deliberately hidden, the Byakugan wouldn't have been able to detect them. It is not clear whether they are enemies or friends. Before they have dealt with the people in front of them, there is another group of people watching covetously. It seems that they are not having a good start this time. Shino controlled the bugs and retreated back to his companions. "I don't know their purpose. Count to 3 and run eastward separately. Once you get rid of them, gather together immediately." He gave Kiba and Hinata a tracking bug each. Kamamaru grinned somewhat unwillingly. Shino used the insect nest to block the enemy's sight. "Run." Then looked at the ninja from the small country who was entangled by insects. "Even if Uncle Snake wants to study the Byakugan, don't think about Hinata. She is a good child." This is both a reminder and a warning. Orochimaru just wanted to study the Byakugan. He didn't want to be an enemy of the entire Byakugan family. Although the eldest daughter of this family has the strongest bloodline, taking her away will cause a lot of unnecessary trouble. Orochimaru is not afraid of trouble, but dealing with troublesome things will waste a lot of time, which is not proportional to his value. Orochimaru stretched out his hand, and his arm strangely extended infinitely. He snatched the ninja toolbags of those people and found their mission books. Although it was not the one Orochimaru wanted, he still took it away. Having just dealt with the annoying bugs, they turned pale when they discovered that the mission book was missing. Suddenly, Qing sensed a strong smell of blood not far away, as well as the restless chakra of the tailed beasts. After entering the forest of death, the murderous atmosphere inside had already made Shukaku ready to take action. "Look, some people are so blind that they run right into the muzzle of the gun." Gaara, who was suppressing Shukaku, was very manic. He raised his arms, and the sand completely trapped the enemy. He clenched his fists and exploded the sand ball that wrapped the man's sand umbrella and didn't get touched by a single drop. "Not enough, not enough." He spoke in a hoarse voice and looked towards the grass somewhere. The 3 people hiding there were sweating profusely. They had originally made plans to escape, but now they were suppressed by the murderous aura and dared not move. After all, the other party killed 3 people in an extremely brutal way in the blink of an eye. Suddenly, the strong murderous aura dissipated in an instant. If it weren't for the smell of blood in my nose, everything that just happened would have seemed like an illusion. Shikamaru trembled as he looked at the other 2 and said silently, "Run now." Gaara, whose murderous aura had disappeared, did not catch up down. Chapter 327. Gaara stood there motionless, with an expression of helplessness on his originally indifferent face. The 3 pig, deer, and butterfly who were lying in the dark took the opportunity to escape. No matter why this person changed so suddenly, it was not something they could investigate. Temari and Kankuro, who were hiding aside for fear of being affected, watched this scene and realized that Gaara had calmed down. "Gaara, are you okay?" Temari knew that Gaara was sometimes unable to suppress Shukaku. She and Kankuro were no match for Shukaku, so whenever this happened they could only stand far away to avoid being affected. This is also what Gaara hopes for. Gaara did not respond to her, but stared at somewhere. Don't follow me. After saying this, he left the two of them and went in one direction. What should we do? Kankuro was undecided here. Kankuro scratched his head. Is it possible that Brother Chi is really here? After all, this is Konoha. There will be supervisory ninjas in the examination room. Kankuro was smart for once. Temari thought what he said made sense. Anyway, as long as Gaara is okay, let's split up first. He knows his limits. Gaara is usually very reliable and won't do anything out of line, obviously waiting for him. Brother Qing. Gaara stood under the tree and looked up at him. However, Qing suddenly lost his balance and fell down. Gaara hurriedly moved the sand and lifted up Qing so that he landed steadily on the ground. Qing stroked his hair and comforted him. Gaara was a little hesitant, but he knew Shukaku would not hurt Qing, so he nodded and agreed, okay. He stood there, forming a seal with his hands and closing his eyes. Then he dropped his hands, and when he raised his head again, his eyes had turned into those of a wild beast. Qing took off his mask, bent down and looked directly at Shukaku. Little Shukaku, have I ever told you to behave yourself and not bully Gaara? Shukaku said in a timid tone, I didn't bully him, this kid is just too weak. His voice was a little sharp, but with a hint of grievance. Qing's face turned cold. With just such an expression, the fearless Shukaku started to cry, you are so partial to this brat. I have done nothing wrong. It is already unpleasant to be sealed in this stinky brat. What's wrong with having some fun occasionally? Why are you so mean to me? AWW, Shukaku's crying sounded unpleasant, like the howling of a wild beast, but that's what he was originally. Qing felt pain in his ear from being pricked, and slapped him on the head. But considering that this is Gaara's body, Qing did not use any force. If you want to come out and relax occasionally, then negotiate with Gaara and reach a cooperative relationship. You are one now, and you will not be better off if he dies. I don't want it, I don't want it, I don't want it. I don't want to cooperate with a human kid. Shukaku just lay on the ground and threw a tantrum. I can't afford to lose face like this. The body used is still Gaara's. Today is a bit short, I will make up for it tomorrow. Kneeling, thank you for the gifts from the babies. It's the last 2 days of this month, let's do some sales for the children. Chapter 328. Looking at Shukaku, who was throwing a tantrum using Gaara's body, Qing calmly took out a camera he carried with him and clicked the shutter several times. Only after he put away the camera did he begin to persuade, ignore, and talk, leisurely. Eight Tails has reached a cooperation with his Jinchuuriki. Don't you want to try some human delicacies? Humans have many more fun entertainments than destroying others. Don't you want to try it? Shukaku successfully calmed down and tried hard to recall. I found that it seems to be true. Every time he appears, he steals things, and then faces fighting, destruction, and then being sealed. Repeat countless times. Look, Yaoi has a good life, eating delicious food, drinking fine wine, and surrounded by beautiful women. Look at you. Qing pretended to click his tongue twice, for the sake of worthless dignity. Every time you snatched a body and ran out, didn't you just kill a few people before being sealed again? Then, Qing shook his head and sighed. Don't you think this is even more aggrieved? Shukaku was stunned. Shukaku thought it made sense. Shukaku realized, I understand. I know what to do. Qing nodded with satisfaction. Good boy. Shukaku got up from the ground, approached Qing and raised his head, his beast eyes revealing a clear stupidity. If I behave well, will you touch me? Yes. Qing took out special dog food from the bag. I will give you delicious food too. Shukaku opened his mouth and bit it. He chewed and chewed, his eyes sparkling. I want more. I'll give it to you next time. If you behave well, I'll reward you. Qing touched his head. It's a deal. Shukaku rubbed it with satisfaction and went back. When Gaara came back, he was still a little confused, because this time he gave up his body voluntarily, and he saw clearly what had just happened. The aroma of food still lingers in my mouth. He brushed the dust off his clothes calmly. Is this the kind of personality Shukaku has? Surprisingly easy to fool. Qing sat down cross-legged and pointed his finger in front of him. Gaara understood and sat over, facing each other specifically. I can't tell you. After all, Qing himself had only watched it, and how to reach an agreement with the tailed beasts depended on them. Gaara is a genius and has a good understanding. He recalled every word Qing said, closed his eyes, entered the spiritual world, and saw the huge-tailed beast. This is the first time I have seen Shukaku in his complete form, like a giant raccoon cat. Probably because he had just been comforted by Qing, he was unusually obedient. He knew Gaara's purpose and was very proud and didn't want to let him get his wish so easily. I'm telling you, little brat, I can lend you my power, but you have to give me tribute, do you understand? Shukaku looked down at him. Gaara looked up at him for a long moment. Shukaku felt that in the blink of an eye, his entire body suddenly disappeared as small as an ant suddenly became several times bigger than himself. What did you do, little brat? It is also thanks to Shukaku's restlessness that he has trained himself to have such a firm spirit. With every shout from Shukaku, Gaara made him smaller, until his figure could no longer be seen with the naked eye and only his voice could be heard. Gaara then spoke leisurely, do you understand? I am the master here, you have no right to negotiate with me. After being tortured by Shukaku for so many years, Gaara has no intention of living in peace with him. But this is temporary. Shukaku made a humiliating compromise that Gaara made him shrink to the size of a normal raccoon cat. Shukaku shouted and tried to attack him, but was trapped in a cage the next moment. Qing looked at Gaara's current condition, smiled and stood guard by his side. Woohoo! School has started, and there are half as many people as before. I feel so sad. Chapter 329. Gaara slowly opened his eyes, frowned and patted his head. The sound of Shukaku throwing a tantrum was still lingering in his mind, giving him a headache. What he saw was a pair of gentle eyes. Gaara relaxed his brows and smiled shyly. I succeeded, brother Qing. This expression is just like when he was a child and wanted to be praised. You did it so quickly. Qing knew that Gaara was very powerful, but she didn't expect him to be so powerful. That's great. Qing hugged Gaara and patted his back. You can sleep peacefully from now on. Although Shukaku is crazy, the tailed beasts will not go back on their word, and the same goes for Shukaku. Gaara's eyes sparkled, and his gaze was softer than ever before. Everyone is afraid of him, except this person who cares about his own health from beginning to end. Thank you. Appeared in my world and saved me from one abyss after another. Did it do anything? Qing was really happy for Gaara. Take a rest first. Do you want to act with me or go find Temari and the others next? Gaara didn't hesitate. I want to follow you first. Okay. Qing took out the scroll, and after unsealing it, a plate of neatly cut fruits appeared. Take a detour after seeing him from afar. It seems like his partner has changed. Damn. He didn't kill his original partner. The kid has such a strong murderous aura. It's not impossible. Stop twucking and run, or you'll be finished if they catch up with you. The two rested for a while, ate the fruit plate, and set off again. When he came to find Gaara, he separated from Orochimaru. Qing put on the mask again, and when he found Orochimaru, he first saw Naruto, who was tied up nearby. In the original work, Naruto was indeed tied up. Even though he is much stronger now than in the original work, he is still not as strong as Orochimaru. Naruto whimpered and struggled even harder when he saw Gaara. Gaara took off the thing that was blocking his mouth, and Naruto burst into tears. Wow, thank you, AI. Without you, I don't know how long I would have been tied up. And when he saw Naruto's red wrist, a low pressure emanated from him. Thank you, brother. Naruto thanked him with a smile and twisted his numb wrist. But when he turned around, the person who helped him untie the rope had already gone away. Why are you running so fast? Naruto muttered. He was in a hurry to go back. Zio. I'll go back to find Sasuke and Sakura first. They're worried because I've been out for too long. At first Naruto just wanted to go to the toilet, but when he was about to go back, he was tied up and thrown out a long distance away from his companions. I'll go with you. Gaara guessed that Qing was probably going to teach the man who kidnapped Naruto a lesson. Sure enough, when they were almost there, the two of them were fighting passionately. Sakura and Sasuke, who were standing by, couldn't get involved at all and could only watch from afar. The two of them started fighting each other after exposing the fake Naruto. As a result, the enemy was too strong and they couldn't even get close. And then, this masked man appeared, and without saying a word, he beat the people who attacked them to death. Masked man, it was just a simple fight, but the sound of the collision made their scalps tingle. What's the point of this? Orochimaru shook his numb arms. I just tied him up for a while. I didn't move anything else. His wrist is bleeding. Qing gritted his teeth in order not to affect other children. Qing moved the battlefield to another place. Only a few people were left looking at each other in confusion. Chapter 330. Naruto narrowed his eyes and was still out of the situation. Seeing that he didn't recognize Qing, Gaara simply didn't say anything. At this time, a team of sound ninja jumped out and tried to grab the scroll. But when he saw Gaara on Naruto, he was stunned and sweating profusely. Sorry to bother you. Stop. Gaara's hoarse voice rang out, causing all the sound ninjas to stop. Yes, is there anything I can tell you about? The leader lowered his head and looked submissive, for fear of angering Gaara. What a joke. They saw the one-sided massacre before. Gaara crossed his arms. Take it out, and get out. As for what to take out, the sound ninja of course did not ask any questions. They placed their scrolls on the tree trunk and ran away without stopping. Gaara controlled the sand and rolled the scroll from the tree trunk over and asked Naruto, "What do you want?" Naruto looked at Sasuke. "Hey, which one are we looking for, the sky? Or the earth?" The scroll was given to Sasuke for safekeeping. Earth. Sasuke's eyes were still looking in the direction the two men had left. That was a speed that even his Sharingan couldn't see clearly. Those two people were very strong. Sasuke clenched his fists unwillingly. "Here you go." Gaara's sand placed a buck of earth in Naruto's hands. "Wow. Aren't you going to keep it for yourself, little Aini?" Naruto took it in his hand and touched the flexible sand. The sand flowed through Naruto's fingers like water, and it felt cool and comfortable. Gaara shook his head. "Our team has already collected them, then. I'll take it." Without hesitation, Naruto waved the scroll in his hand towards his partner. Mission accomplished. Xiaoying held her forehead with her hand, not knowing what to say. Is it really okay for someone else to help complete it like this? Sakura looked at Sasuke. Sasuke nodded. "It's only the first day, so we don't have to bother looking for it and it saves energy. There will be people coming to snatch it later, so let's conserve our energy for now." "Okay, since Sasuke said so." Sakura walked over and thanked him. "Thank you, Gaara, you really helped a lot." Gaara simply nodded calmly and said truthfully, "No need to thank me, I didn't do anything." He looked at Naruto. "I'm leaving now. I'll see you in a few days, okay?" Naruto grabbed Gaara's hand. "Be careful." "I will." Gaara was not used to this kind of skin-to-skin contact yet. Gaara said goodbye to Naruto and the others and caught up with Qing. Qing's fight was over by this time, and the two sat facing each other. Orochimaru's clothes were covered in dust and had bruises. After all, he wasn't really serious. Orochimaru was inexplicably tolerant of Qing, so he just let him vent his anger and was just defending himself unilaterally. Qing also noticed this and stopped when he saw that it was almost time. He was helping to heal his wounds, muttering, "How dare you? According to seniority, Naruto should call you Uncle Master. Is it appropriate for you to bully him like this? His father is Jiraiya's apprentice, and has nothing to do with me." Orochimaru sneered. "How can it be unrelated? You and Sensei Jiraiya are both disciples of Grandpa Sarutobi, so you have a close relationship." Qing stopped. There was not even a broken spot on Orochimaru's body. "Brother." Qing. Gaara approached only after seeing that they had finished. "Zio. Ai, did you come from Naruto and the others?" Qing brushed the dust off Gaara's clothes. Gaara nodded obediently. "Yeah, there was an attack from the sound ninja just now, and now they have collected the scrolls. How, the one-tailed Jinchuriki is acting like a good kid in front of you." Orochimaru probably knew the reason behind this, and his eyes became even more scorching as he looked at Qing. "When will you be free to cooperate with me in the experiment? We can't get much breakthrough just from blood." "Well, let's talk about it later. I'm busy recently." Qing blinked. He was indeed busy recently as a lot of things were happening. What a shame. Orochimaru did not force it. "I am also interested in the tailed beasts." "That's impossible. To be honest, the tailed beasts are just manifestations of chakra. They don't have blood for you to draw. There are ways to extract chakra." Orochimaru entered thinking mode. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 331. As the sky gradually darkened, it became clear that the forest was 100 times more dangerous at night than during the day. "It's almost time for dinner." Qing looked at the setting sun. As the sun sets, the temperature in the forest drops significantly. Qing turned back and saw that a lot of edible fruits had been picked and a fire had been built to roast the processed meat and internal organs all. This also means that the child has grown up. Let's go, Zio AI. Gaara looked at Naruto, who was chatting and laughing with his friends. Then after looking away, he didn't ask any more questions, but just said, "Yes." On the way back to find Sai, Qing hunted some birds. Sai has escaped from the ice, but Kimimura's bone prison cannot be broken no matter what he does. Now he's sitting inside in a somewhat embarrassed state. When he saw Qing coming back, he just glanced at her indifferently. Sai would not have any complaints against Qing. After all, he was not as skilled as others. "Sorry for being late." Qing raised the poultry in his hand and said, "I brought dinner back." Sai didn't say anything, just looked up at him. Qing walked over, looked at Kimimura's bone prison, took out a kunai and pierced his fingertips with the tip of bones. The drop of blood was like a flash in the pan. In the blink of an eye, the bone prison collapsed and melted away. Sai's eyes widened. The ninjutsu that he had been unable to break for such a long time was solved with just a drop of blood? Sai frowned slightly, stood up and looked at Qing. Healed. By using medical ninjutsu in this way, Sai once again pushed his limits. He could no longer hide his emotions, and looked at Qing with a complicated expression. "Is your blood high concentration sulfuric acid?" Qing couldn't help laughing. "No, that was because Kimimura's ninjutsu opened a back door for me." Qing unlocked Kimimura's ninjutsu. Kimimura originally disagreed, but it seemed that this was the only method that could be used. Oh. Sai lowered his eyes when he looked up again. He saw Qing taking out the scroll. Then, after removing the seal, there are all kinds of seasonings inside. Sai. Qing, Zio AI, do you like the honey or cumin flavor? I've never tasted honey-flavored honey. Mine with cumin. If you don't like the taste, I'll exchange with you. Qing skillfully spread honey and sprinkled cumin on the barbecue. Sai, what flavor would you like? Honey? Cumin? Anything is fine. Sai was not picky about food, and his eyes fell on Qing's face, which was slightly red from being roasted by the fire. His vision was suddenly blocked and he met a pair of green eyes, with brows slightly furrowed, giving Sai a warning look. Sai could smell the blood on this boy who was about the same age as him. I guess the Wind Country ninja who is on good terms with Qing and the information is him. Sai took out his notebook and ticked the sentence "close ties with the country of Japanese wind." Chapter 332. Qing hummed a song and gracefully flipped the barbecue in his hand. The aroma filled the air. This wonderful smell attracted many creatures nearby. They gathered around Qing, their eyes revealing desire and greed. Among these creatures, there was a huge wolf. Its hair as soft as silk, but its eyes were sharp and fierce. Its teeth flashed coldly, as if ready to pounce on Qing at any time. Body made people shudder. It flexibly spit out its tongue, as if observing Qing's every move. Sai took out his short knife and watched these dangerous creatures vigilantly, ready to deal with their possible attacks at any time. However, those extremely dangerous creatures just crouched aside, keeping a safe distance. Their eyes revealed a kind of awe, as if Qing was an inviolable existence. Qing was already accustomed to this scene. Gaara knew how special Qing was. After all, he was an existence that even Shukaku could appease. Sai didn't know that the abnormality of the scene was because of Qing. He just couldn't understand it. It was not until Bai and Kimimura, who had separated from them during the day, reunited that they seemed not surprised by such a scene, and only then did they connect the dots with Qing. Mr. Qi, the target has been locked. It has no intention of taking action during the Chunin exams for the time being. When Bai said this, his eyes fell on Sai. It's okay, go on. Qing knew that Bai was on guard against Sai, so she didn't care. Instead, she smiled and let Bai continue. Bai cleared his throat and took out a blueprint, spread it out, drew several circles on it and continued, but with the keywords coded, "Weeds appear in these places." The others were currently, and where he was currently. He looked at Gaara beside him, met Gaara's somewhat shy gaze, and couldn't help but rub his head with his clean hands. Have they started collecting the tailed beasts now? Is this considered as finding out about the nine-tailed fox? Qing has always maintained friendly relations with Gaara from the Kingdom of Wind, and this has never been concealed. Even after knowing this, he couldn't understand why the brutal Gaara would be so docile only when facing himself. The same is true for Ju, which Bai calls a weed. And now Baizetsu, who was still in the dark and thought he was hiding well, also asked in confusion, "Who is he?" Black Zetsu was furious. "How should I know? This guy makes me feel so disgusting and sick." It was a feeling that made him feel uncomfortable all over. White Zetsu, "But he is very good looking, go back and ask Itachi." Black Zetsu, "Why are you asking? That kid won't tell you obediently." White Zetsu, "Yes, what about Afe? He has been to Konoha, so he will know." Baiju was still chattering about Qing's appearance, and Heiju was annoyed, but he couldn't stop Baiju from talking. Although they were monitoring from here, they could not hear any sound from the other side. They didn't know what kind of ninjutsu they used to isolate it. The situation is the same with the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. It's like this around that house and in the forest too. It's really annoying. On the other side, Sagi seemed not to care, but he was actually listening carefully. However, he did not understand the code, so he just memorized it in his mind and would report it when he returned. As the night deepened, the beasts around him did not disperse, and Sagi stared at them. Qing sighed and waved to the Wolf King in front of Sagi. The Wolf King came over and rubbed his head along the hand. "Go back." Thick Hair the Wolf King whipped reluctantly and left with a pack. The giant python did the same when it saw this, but it turned its head and made a hissing sound from time to time. The sudden appearance of a large number of wild beasts is bound to make the entire forest uneasy tonight, except for Qing and Naruto and his friends. Qing had already given him a powder that most wild animals dared not approach. Naruto and his friends found a large tree hole, sprinkled powder around it, and took turns with Sasuke to keep watch all night, and got a good rest. Kavining Chapter 333. Over the next 2 days, there wasn't much movement from Qing's side. He would occasionally check on Naruto and the others, and after making sure they were safe and not seriously injured, he would leave. Or when they are seriously injured, they will come quietly to treat them. Of course, this was discovered by Sakura while she was on night watch. Qing took off his mask while Xiaoying was on guard. Sakura stared at the chakra gathering in her hands, mesmerized. A barrier was cast on the tree hole, and that night Qing taught Sakura the basic theoretical knowledge of medical ninjutsu. Sakura learned very quickly and has mastered it well after just one night of study. After that, he practiced more frequently with Naruto and Sasuke. 7 were a little dirty, but there were no scratches on their bodies. Aino came over and asked them if they had been hiding for the past few days. "But even if I hide, where can I hide safely?" Sakura waved her hand and didn't hide anything. She smiled and told Aino what she had just learned. Aino was shocked. "When did you learn this behind my back?" Sakura pulled Aino and Hinata away and told them about their experiences that day. They rested in the tree hole to maintain their strength, but there were enemies who came to snatch the scroll. It was just that Naruto's Sasuke fought the guy off, and when he got injured, Sakura treated him. The few of them spent these few days like this, and their strength was indeed enhanced through repeated actual combat, and the same was true for Sakura's medical ninjutsu. Aino envied. "Damn it. I want to learn it too." Aino was not surprised that Qing would appear in the examination room, and she also thought it was normal that he secretly healed Naruto's injuries. After all, they have all seen how much Qing dotes on Naruto over the years. Although their team avoided many dangers in the past few days thanks to Shikamaru's cleverness, they did not suffer any serious injuries, but they suffered from minor injuries all the time, and it was really painful. "After this is over, let's go visit Brother Chi together." Aino hooked her arms around Sakura and Hinata's necks and discussed in a low voice. Hinata shook her head regretfully. "I don't know if I can learn it. My father won't agree. The Hyuga family has its own ninjutsu, which is used in conjunction with the Byakugan. Hinata has always been trained as an heir, but her talent is not that good. Hinata really has no confidence in herself." Qing was still mixed in the crowd, reducing his presence. He looked at Sasuke's smooth neck, and it seemed that Orochimaru did not attack him. After arriving at the central building, Gaara and Qing said a brief goodbye and returned to Temari. Temari was relieved to see that his clothes were clean. "Although I know Gaara is very powerful, as an older sister I still can't let go of my worries about my brother." Orochimaru was not present here, but before the third match began, Kabuto and Kankuro gave up as originally planned. After the second exam, there was no time for everyone to catch their breath, as the third exam began. Present is an odd number, which means that one person will be given a bye. In the second game, we experienced the extreme survival in the Death Forest, and was praying that they would be the ones who got a bye. Qing did not receive any instructions for the next step, and did not know whether to continue or withdraw from the Chunin exam. His strength really makes him look like a kid among a group of genin. When he raised his head and met the gaze of the third generation, the latter advanced to him, with a message of be patient in his eyes. Qing just found a place to sit down after the examiner explained the exam rules. The name on the big screen started to jump. I will start working tomorrow. I will try my best to update chapter 334. Sasuke made a quick decision when facing an opponent with a chakra-absorbing jutsu. Just keep your distance and don't give him the chance to get close, or let him explode. After training together with Naruto over the years, Sasuke's strength has already reached the peak of Sharingan, or has even surpassed it. Combined with the two Magatama Sharingan, the amount of chakra is also not small. I didn't consume much energy in the Death Forest these few days, and it has basically recovered now. So, Sasuke chose to confront it head-on. The man was originally laughing at Uchiha's arrogance, but soon found that he had reached his limit, while the young Uchiha still had a relaxed expression on his face. He realized something was wrong, but it was too late to distance himself. Sasuke held the other's hand tightly, and chakra was continuously output. Soon, an explosion was heard. Was too late to stop now. After being fed the last bite of chakra, his body reached its limit. There was an explosion and Sasuke's opponent fell down with his eyes rolled back. Sasuke snorted, "It's over." The process took less than 5 minutes from start to finish. Many people in the audience still didn't understand what was going on. In their eyes, Uchiha Sasuke was clearly at a disadvantage, and his opponent suddenly exploded. Qing discovered that Orochimaru, who had changed his skin at some point, appeared in the audience. He was wearing a sound ninja sword protector and was full of admiration for the young Uchiha in the audience. However, with the two variables of Haku and Kimimaro, the list of other matches has changed. When the sound ninja drew by, he decisively chose to forfeit, and by advance directly. Kimimaro faced the Iwagakure ninja and easily won with just his ordinary physical skills. Hinata did not face Nisi in this match, but instead faced a female from the sound ninja. Although she won this battle with great difficulty, she won the applause of Ninja. Watched this match and had a greatly changed opinion of his cousin whom he hadn't seen for a long time. Naruto defeated Kiba and Akamaru based on his strength. Everyone lay on the ground gasping for breath. Although he was unwilling, he accepted a defeat with all his heart, showed mercy and did not kill his opponent. However, Zio Lee was taken to emergency treatment because he suffered from shock due to his body's limit. The sisters did not get along. Sakura's opponent became Shaji, and she used her clever brain to make Chaji faint. Sai's opponent is Ino, but Ino's mind conversion technique is useless against the determined Sai. Was blocked by the referee. It was a blow aimed at the vital point. Ino, who felt like she had survived the brink of death, collapsed to the ground, unable to stand up for a while. It was Naruto and Sakura who came down together and helped him up. Naruto frowned, looked at Sai deeply, and then comforted Ino at last. The only person with a bias, Qing, who had been sitting on the bench for most of the day, finally understood what the third generation meant by that calm down look. However, as a Bai, he naturally became a thorn in the eyes of the eliminated players. Someone expressed dissatisfaction. This guy advanced by luck? Then what about us who worked so hard? There were more than one or two voices of protest. The third Hokage sighed slowly. Sometimes luck is also a part of strength. Well, don't say that. I'm also bored sitting on the bench for most of the day. Qing raised his hand. If you don't agree, you can challenge me. If you win, I'll give you the position. His calm words successfully angered these people. I'll go first. I just want to see what you, a guy who only dares to wear a mask and dare not show your face, are capable of. The commotion all breathed of relief. This little farce ended under the pitying gaze of 3 generations. The school starts and the critical hot makes me tired. Chapter 335. The preliminary round of the third exam ended perfectly. The official competition will be held in a month. On the day when the game officially starts, daimyos from other countries will come to watch the game, which can be said to give both sides ample time to prepare. The third Hokage said what he needed to say and sent everyone back. Led by several examiners, they were taken out of the Death Forest through a safe passage to go home first. Ino found that Naruto was already a little anxious. Ah, yes, I haven't been home for many days. I miss my uncle. Naruto grinned. He really wanted to go home and see his uncle as soon as possible. I want to inform my uncle as soon as possible that I have advanced to the finals. His eyes were full of light, and he was already imagining what it would be like to be praised. Gaara's gaze fell and moved on Qing, who was at the end of the team. The eyes of several Jonin who knew the situation also fell on the masked young man at the end. "I knew you would say that." Ino sighed helplessly. "Asuma-sensei is taking us to eat barbecue. Aren't you going to celebrate?" "Naruto probably isn't in the mood to celebrate right now." Kakashi smiled awkwardly. "Well, there's no rush. Kakashi is the only one whose 3 students all managed to stay until the end, and he is filled with pride." They reached the exit. Qing gave Kakashi a look, asking him to help him delay some time. Kakashi shrugged to indicate that he had other things to do next. So Qing could only quickly slip back home, take a shower and change his clothes. Fortunately, the ingredients are all hunted in the forest and are fresh and ready-made. Naruto went to the pet store first, and didn't feel anything when he saw the store was closed. But when he took a closer look, he saw a thin layer of dust on the glass door, which told him that no one had been here for several days. Naruto smelled the aroma when he was almost home, and his stomach growled in protest. "I'm back." Naruto sat in front of the entrance and took off his shoes. He turned sideways and shouted inside, and soon saw the young uncle wearing an apron coming out to greet him. "Welcome back." Qing came out of the kitchen shower first. "I can't wipe it clean like this." Naruto felt a little itchy by the gentle movements. All the anxiety of the past few days disappeared after seeing Qing and smelling his scent. How could that be? "Now it's clean." Qing held Naruto's face and kissed him on the forehead. "Thank you for your hard work, Minbao. I'll go take a shower first, change into clean clothes and then give my uncle a big hug." Naruto did not forget that he was covered in mud. "My uncle is such a clean person, he cannot be defiled by him." "I don't dislike you." Qing patted his head helplessly, but did not stop him from taking a shower. "After all, I stayed in the forest for so many days. Not only did I not have the chance to change clothes, but the only way I took a bath was to rub myself casually in the river, which was indeed not clean. Do you need me to scrub your back?" After Naruto went into the bathroom, Qing remembered this and knocked on the door to ask him. "No need. I'm so hungry, uncle. I want to eat a meal you made quickly." "Okay, it's almost time for you to come out, Naruto." Did it ask where his young uncle had been these past few days anyway? "As long as I can see my dearest uncle when I come back, nothing else matters. Speaking of which, I always feel like my uncle has been by my side these days." "I had the same feeling when I went to Wave Country before, but I guess it's because I always carried the amulet prepared by my uncle." Qing didn't deny it, nor did he say much. He listened to Naruto describe what happened during the exam, and then accompanied him to review the scenes during the actual combat. They didn't stop talking until someone knocked on the door. "Excuse me, is anyone there? Is my dear disciple at home?" The familiar voice made Qing stunned. Chapter 336. A man's powerful voice came from outside the door. Qing put down his chopsticks in a daze. "There's a guest. I'll go open the door, uncle." Naruto stood up first. "Okay, I'll go get another set of bowls and chopsticks." Qing walked towards the kitchen. Squeak. The door opened. "My good disciple." The joy on the white-haired middle-aged man's face froze. His face was full of shock, and he pointed at Naruto, who opened the door with a trembling hand. You. Naruto looked at the somewhat wretched-looking uncle in front of him, not quite sure whether the apprentice he was talking about was his own uncle. But out of politeness, he still asked, "Uncle, who are you looking for?" "Ahem." Jiraiya put away his gaff and said, "Of course I'm looking for my good disciple. When I think about how the little beauty back then has grown into a big beauty now, I feel a sense of anticipation." Oh. Naruto looked at the wretched temperament of the uncle, and disdain hung on his face. "Who is your apprentice?" "Qing." Jiraiya put his hands on his hips. "Doesn't he live here? Isn't he at home?" Naruto thought that this uncle was not very smart, but he did say the name of his younger uncle. I could only reluctantly turn aside and let him in. "You are at home. Please come in." "Oh, sorry to bother you. You are quite sensible boy." Jiraiya smiled and patted Naruto's shoulder. Naruto stumbled forward a few steps after being slapped. "It hurts." He rubbed his painful shoulder and silently said in his heart that this is a guest, the guest of my uncle. Please come this way. Jiraiya walked behind slightly, with a smile in his eyes. "I'm surprised you're taken care of so well, Wang. Did you say anything just now?" Naruto turned around. "No. It's not okay to have auditory hallucinations at such a young age, haha." Jiraiya simply ignored Naruto and walked into the house. When he saw Qing preparing the dishes and chopsticks, and his face that had grown up in proportion to his appearance since childhood, it was almost the same as what he had imagined. Having not seen each other for many years, his nose felt a little sour. My good disciple. He walked over with his arms open. Qing hadn't seen his master for a long time, and he missed him a lot when they met suddenly, so he walked towards him only. Qing's mouth twitched. Master, what are you doing with your hands? Hey, why are you still so thin? There's not much meat on your body. Jiraiya put his hand on Qing's waist and moved it down, but Qing pushed it away, jumped, and he ran over to protect Qing, no longer caring about the etiquette of hospitality, pointing at Jiraiya's nose. You are really a lecherous uncle! Exclamation mark. How can someone like you be the master of my uncle? What are you talking about, kid? I am the Toad Sage of Myaboku Mountain, Master Jiraiya. Jiraiya clasped his hands together and turned around with his long hair. Your uncle has been my disciple since he was a child. Wait. Jiraiya suddenly got stuck and looked at Naruto blankly. Who is your uncle? Naruto was silent. Qing frowned. It's me. Jiraiya's face suddenly went blank. Uncle? Shouldn't it be Aunt? This time it was Qing's turn to be silent. His plastics master couldn't have a deep misunderstanding of him. Man, Jiraiya took a few steps back in despair. The sweet and soft female apprentice in his mind, who would call him master, sweetly turned into bubbles in an instant. Uncle, is he really your master? Naruto felt shocked. But yes, he is also your father's teacher. Qing held his forehead with his hand. He always felt that Jiraiya's attitude towards him when he was a child was indeed a little subtle. It's like avoiding suspicion in some aspects. Or when staying in a hotel, they would book 2 rooms and never compromise on food, accommodation, or other necessities. Live well, eat well, buy good things. I thought it was just special care for me, so you treat yourself as a real girl. Thank you for the gifts, babies. Keep updating. Chapter 337. Jiraiya was still immersed in the shock of his sweet and soft female disciple turning into a smelly male disciple. Qing held his forehead inside. Are you hungry, master? The food is still hot. If I don't divert his attention, I don't know when the meal will be finished. Wow, you little brat, you don't understand my sadness. Jiraiya turned around, looked at the table full of delicious food, and shut his mouth for a short while. He put his hand into his collar and took out a pair of chopsticks. However, Naruto became anxious when he saw his chopsticks going towards the only hamburger steak. That's mine. He rushed over, picked up the entire plate and snatched away the chopsticks. What do you mean by yours or mine? This is all made by my apprentice. Me. Naruto refused to give in and looked at Qing for help. Qing stood in front of Naruto as a matter of course, with one hand on his waist and the other pointing at Jiraiya. Master, how old are you and you're still fighting with a child for food? Isn't there enough meat on the table for you? But the one in that boy's hand looks tastier, Jiraiya said shyly. I am your master, you can't be so partial. Why not? Qing raised his eyebrows. He took the chopsticks and fed Naruto with his own hands in front of Jiraiya, saying confidently, I raised Naruto, so who else can I protect you if I don't protect him? You. Jiraiya pointed at them, saying you and you for a long time, and finally turned his grief and anger into appetite, and madly swept the meat on the table. It's a bad start. Chew. This is delicious. Unfillable. Chew. This is also delicious. Slurp. Another bowl of soup. They look like refugees who have been hungry for a long time. Naruto scratched his head in confusion, a little at a loss. My uncle's master, is he having a difficult life? Naruto remembered that there was a time when he ate like this. That time he was hungry for a long time and could not get enough food every day. Probably. After all, master has been wandering all the time. Qing touched his head. Sit down and eat together. It will be eaten up soon. Jiraiya enjoyed the meal very much. He was very happy to see his little disciple after a long time. He was also very happy to see the grown-up son of another disciple and to use the name he had given him. I was so happy with the meal that I couldn't help but take out my treasured wine. The wine was strong and he soon got drunk and started talking nonsense. After a while, he looked at Qing and said, You have really grown up to be a virtuous and lovely person. I have been optimistic about you since you were a child. After a while, he pulled Naruto to drink together. If Qing hadn't stopped him in time, Naruto would have been forced to drink alcohol. Naruto had never drunk alcohol before, and he felt a little dizzy after smelling the strong aroma of alcohol. Jiraiya hooked his arm around Naruto's neck, teased him, and they chatted happily. They talked about the vastness outside the land of fire and the interesting ethnic cultures of small regions. Naruto has loved listening to these things since he was a child, and Jiraiya talked about these things vividly. In the second half of the night, when Qing returned to the living room after packing up his things, Jiraiya had already fallen asleep in a spread eagle position. Naruto was tired from the commotion, and his tense spirit from preparing for the Chunin exam for so many days finally relaxed, and he fell asleep. Qing brought a quilt to cover Jiraiya and carried Naruto back to their room. Uncle. Naruto, who was moved, opened his eyes dazedly. Qing patted his back. Go back to the room and continue sleeping. Well, good night, uncle. Naruto muttered. Good night, Mingbao. Sleeping together, how shameful. Jiraiya smacked his lips, carefully took the boy out of the young man's arms, and left late at night. Only a thin piece of paper remains. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 338. The next day, Qing turned over and touched nothing, and instantly woke up. He half-propped himself up and looked at the empty and cold bed next door. There were black words on the pillow, and the bold font was obviously written by Zilei, swollen forward with a gloomy face. He believed in Jiraiya's character and was confident in Naruto, but he didn't know their exact location, which made Qing a little anxious and uncontrollable. The other side, Naruto, who was tied up and carried away in the middle of the night, actually woke up before dawn. I found myself moving at high speed, with an unknown object underneath. Hey boy, you're awake. Jiraiya grinned and looked down at Naruto, observing every change in his expression. Lecherous. Uncle. Naruto wanted to get up, but his hands and feet were tied and he couldn't move for a while. Where are you taking me? Naruto quickly realized his current situation and his face turned pale. You took me away. Does my uncle know? Jiraiya raised his eyebrows. You are already so old, but you still cry and look for your uncle when you encounter problems? When you go out on missions, does your uncle follow you? Naruto was silent for a long time. When Jiraiya thought he had hit upon the truth, he spoke slowly. Well, uncle thought he was hiding it pretty well, but he seemed to have followed me when I went on a mission to Wave Country before. This time it was Jiraiya's turn to be silent. It seems that taking you away is the right thing to do. The ninja world is very cruel. We may never see each other again at any time. He had seen it yesterday. Naruto was quite powerful, but too delicate in some ways. Shouldn't we cherish the time we can spend together? Naruto retorted, I want to go back. No, Jiraiya grinned. I won't let you go back before the next Chunin exam begins. I will make you stronger in this month. Look forward to it, boy. I don't take people to practice easily. No need. I want to go back. Naruto propped himself up and sat up, only to find that he was on the back of a giant toad. Give up. We've reached the border of the fire country. Jiraiya snorted. Naruto. When Qing arrived at the Hokage's office, it was already full of people. There was the Jonin who led the team, as well as the examiners in charge of the examination room, the invigilators and the Uchiha guards. When Qing came in, everyone's eyes were on him. But today Qing was in a low mood. He simply greeted everyone and sat down at the back of the crowd. Kakashi looked at him a few more times in response. Qing didn't hear anything they said until his name was called. Then he raised his head. Qing, have you found anything? The third generation's eyes fell on Qing. What do you want to know? Qing touched the hair on his forehead. Sandai raised an eyebrow. You're not in a good mood today? What's wrong? Written all over his face. Well, how come I don't know when Jiraiya will come back? I will have someone contact him as soon as possible to confirm his location. The third generation certainly knew how important Naruto was to Qing. Obviously Jiraiya took Naruto away without his consent. During the exam, there was indeed a dangerous person who sneaked in, but he has not done anything detrimental to Konoha so far. Since he was asked, Qing was not going to hide it. Oh? Do you know his identity? The third generation narrowed his eyes slightly. It's Uncle Snake. Qing finished speaking. There were voices of disbelief and doubt. Everyone present knew who the Uncle Snake he mentioned was. I wish you all a happy Goddess Day. Chapter 339. Among them, Red Beans had the biggest reaction. Red Bean was picked up by Orochimaru and is one of his disciples. Impossible. Hongdao gritted her teeth. How could I not know if he was there? Qing shrugged. We met again in the second game. Meet? He's a traitor ninja from Konoha. You knew he sneaked in, but you didn't arrest him. Qing raised his eyes, looked at the unknown ninja and said, catch him? If you can do it, go ahead. I can help you find the location of Uncle Snake. The man choked and his face turned blue. Yes, if Orochimaru was so easy to catch, he would have been caught long ago. Even Red Bean, who was raised by him, didn't even notice he was there. Another question, do you have a close contacts with a rebel ninja? As he said this, he showed a wary state towards Qing. Under normal circumstances, Qing might have dealt with this person for a while longer, but today he didn't want to say much. Qing's silence was seen by many as a tacit agreement, and they all began to question him. Well, there must be some misunderstanding here. Kakashi took the lead in trying to smooth things over. He could see that Qing was in a bad mood today. If these people continued to say this, Qing would be in trouble. Okay. The third Hokage spoke, and was silent. He looked at Qing. You said that he doesn't want to do anything bad to Konoha now? Do you believe this? I still believe what Snake said. After all, destroying Konoha will not do him any good. You know he is obsessed with scientific research. Qing was still respectful to the third generation even if he was in a bad mood, but he is more interested in Sasuke. After saying this, he glanced over the Uchiha present. Sure enough, Uchiha, who had been in the background, could no longer sit still. Mr. Chi, what does this mean? What does he want to do to our young master? Mr. Chi, do you have any plans for the next period of time? I sincerely hope you can come to Uchiha to chat. Uchiha gave Qing enough respect, which made the ninja who had just slapped Qing's face even paler. Perhaps it was because too much time had passed, or perhaps it was because this person had not shown up for a long time, which caused their memory of Qing to fade. At this moment, he seemed to remember who the person in front of him was. With a pale face, he knelt down in front of Qing and said, I was rude just now, please forgive me, Mr. Chi. He likes in Konoha that he can take to raise. Secondly, Uncle Snake and I have always had a deal, and the third generation is also aware of this. I don't need to explain the specifics to you one by one, right? Qing smiled again, but the smile did not reach his eyes. However, when facing Uchiha, Qing gave him a calming look. Uchiha understood and sat back down as a background figure. Having said this, looked up at the third generation, and after getting a positive answer, they let everyone the topic go. And Qing also revealed the fact that Orochimaru was in Konoha. No matter what kind of deals he made with Orochimaru, Qing was still a member of Konoha. Kakashi secretly breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Qing with a bit of resentment. Qing pretended not to see it. There was nothing for him to do afterwards, so he just quietly listened as an observer, or maybe he wasn't listening at all. The third generation wanted to keep Qing, but he sighed and gave up. Qing was invited to Uchiha. After the meeting, someone went back to inform the clan leader about Orochimaru's replacement of Sasuke. So when Qing became the head of the Uchiha clan leader Fugaku had been waiting for a long time. Chapter 340. Uchiha clan leader's house. When Qing arrived, Uchiha Fugaku was already waiting in the reception room. Ever since Itachi's defection, Uchiha Fugaku has devoted all his energy to training Sasuke. Therefore, he had to take seriously the fact that someone was trying to kidnap his heir. Based on Qing's relationship with the Uchiha clan in recent years, the Uchiha clan leader did not beat around the bush and went straight to the point. You said Orochimaru wanted to take Sasuke away, is this true? Qing nodded, but he doesn't have the habit of taking people away by force, so it mainly depends on Sasuke. Uchiha Fugaku frowned. What do you mean? Does it mean that Sasuke will go with him voluntarily? What reason does Sasuke have to go with him? Qing supported his chin with one hand and tapped the table with the other hand. I don't know, but Uncle Shi can always see what others need at a glance, and always find a way to make people follow him voluntarily. As for why Sasuke is still with Snake, the only thing I can think of is, have you, clan leader, pushed Sasuke too hard in the past few years? Apart from this, Qing couldn't think of any reason why Sasuke would escape. After all, He doesn't need to take revenge on anyone now. Uchiha Fugaku was silent. Did he really push Sasuke too hard? But he had higher standards for Itachi back then, but now he has relaxed his standards. I'll keep an eye on it. Thank you for the information. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. After exchanging a few pleasantries, Qing went straight home. However, two figures covered in blood were found nearby. When he saw Qing, the young man walked over as if he had grabbed a life-saving straw, and the person he was carrying seemed to be dead save him. Sagi and his men knelt in front of Qing after he escaped from there. Qing's face appeared in his mind. Maybe he can save his brother. Qing didn't waste any time. After laying the man flat, he placed his palm over the injured man's heart and felt that it was still beating, but very weak. I can only heal physical injuries. If he is poisoned or cursed, I can't save him. With his other hand, he quickly pulled out a scroll from his bag, bit his finger and let a drop of blood drip onto it. Sagi quickly replied, no. Only physical damage. Inside the unsealed scroll was a fully stocked medicine box. Qing took out a bottle and poured out more a black pill, cleaning the dirt in his mouth first. Qing threw a set of cleaning tools to Sagi. Sagi was watching him do it smoothly and hadn't reacted at first, but after hearing these words he came to his senses and took it with trembling hands. Clots inside at this time. He ground the medicine into powder and mixed it with water, then drew a needle through it, opened his mouth. The hand covered with chakra never stopped covering the heart. With Sagi's help, Shin swallowed the potion. Seeing that Zin's breathing became noticeably heavier after swallowing the potion, Sagi widened his eyes and stared at Qing's movements without blinking. After the whole body was healed, did Qing stop, took out another medicine bottle, poured out 2 pills, and this time let him put them directly in his mouth. Qing had performed this kind of rescue on himself many times in the past few years, so his movements were quick and skillful. After completing these emergency rescue operations, Qing, who was about to say something, finally felt the coordinates he left on Naruto. He slapped Sagi on the forehead and said, he will probably have a high fever next. We need to take care to reduce his fever physically. Do you know how to do it? After seeing Sagi nod, he continued, go straight along this road. There is a vacant room on the first floor. There is a medicine box and the largest cabinet in the house. Find the antipyretic medicine yourself. There are new towels in the bathroom. After saying these words, Qing disappeared from Sagi's sight. Before Sagi could react, he looked at the house at the end of the road and tried to move forward. Sure enough, it never returned to its original place. I'm saved, brother. Sagi, with tears in his eyes, walked towards the house at the end of the road with Zin's complexion slightly improved. Woohoo, the weekend is over in the blink of an eye. Chapter 341. At this time, Jiraiya and Naruto couldn't break free from the ropes on his hands, and the surroundings were all unfamiliar, so he simply gave up resisting. Of course it's fake. Jiraiya knew with his toes that this kid wouldn't give up easily. He raised an eyebrow and let him lie down, but he never mentioned untying him. Until we arrived at the destination, it was a place with beautiful mountains and rivers. There were mountains, water and rivers, but there were no living people other than the two of them. After arriving here, Jiraiya untied Naruto and threatened him, don't even think about running away, kid. If you get lost in the forest, I can't save you. I know. I won't run away. Naruto's hands were numb and tears welled up in his eyes. Wow. I can't feel my hands and feet anymore. You're spoiled. Excellent ninja, you can't be unable to endure this little bit of hardship, but my uncle said that as long as you have absolute strength, you can walk all over the ninja world. Naruto curled his lips. Jiraiya laughed at him, you are still far from that level now. What qualifications do you have to not endure hardships? My uncle said that he would protect me until I become stronger. Naruto raised his chin proudly. My uncle said that a strong backing is also a kind of strength. The veins on Jiraiya's forehead throbbed. These were all twisted ideas, but they were also reasonable. However, what about your current situation? If I were an enemy, your dear uncle wouldn't be able to get here in time. Do you still think he's a kind of strength to you? Naruto, whose hands and feet were untied, grinned. Who said my uncle can't make it? As he spoke, he shook his numb hands, reached into his bag and took out a letter scroll. He took out fingertips resting on the seal. Peng's smoke dissipated, revealing a kunai that looked very familiar to Jiraiya. His mouth opened slightly, and then a young man with long golden hair appeared behind Naruto and held him in his arms. Why did it take you so long to take it out? Qing said with a hint of complaint. I just found an opportunity. Naruto leaned back and rubbed against his uncle's arms. Naruto always carried the flying thunder needle with him, which was given to him by Qing Fang with the coordinates on it. However, Naruto was afraid of losing it, so he kept it in the sealed letter scroll. The seal will only be released under special circumstances. However, it has been in a safe state before and there is no need to use it. Jiraiya raised his hand and pointed at Qing with trembling fingertips. Have you learned all of Minato's flying thunder god technique? My brother taught me. Qing lowered his eyes and met Naruto's gaze, his anxious emotion suppressed. He lowered his head and put his face close to Naruto's. Master, you are too much? I am so happy that you want to take Mingbao to practice, but you took him away secretly. If it weren't for the flying thunder needle on Naruto, I would be very distressed. Naruto raised his hand and touched Qing's head, as if to comfort him, but he said, I was almost scared to death, little uncle. It's a good thing you came. Jiraiya's pupils contracted when he suddenly understood everything, and his whole head buzzed and he felt a little dazed. It turns out that everything he thought was wrong. Is it actually the other way around? He thought that Naruto was overly dependent on Qing. From any perspective, Qing's doting was not conducive to Naruto's growth. I'm sorry, I was too self-righteous. Jiraiya sat down cross-legged, scratching his head in annoyance. It was wrong of me to bring Naruto out without permission. I'm sorry. Jiraiya's solemn apology made Qing not angry. He took Naruto to sit face to face with him and said, I know you really want to cultivate Mingbao. Master, you can just say it directly. Why do you have to be so sneaky and make it like kidnapping? Is this kidnapping? Naruto looked up innocently. Well, I'm just afraid that you won't agree. Ha 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 ha. Jiraiya laughed awkwardly. He did intend to play a little prank, but judging from Qing's mental state, he had indeed gone too far. I'm sorry. He pointed at his fingers and gave a pitiful expression. Do you want to practice with a master? In fact, without Jiraiya's kidnapping, Qing knew that Jiraiya would come back during this period of time, and he also wanted to ask Jiraiya to take Naruto with him. I had a dream within a dream at noon. Sometimes I dreamed that someone was sleeping next to me, sometimes I dreamed that someone was pulling my quilt, sometimes I dreamed that someone was sitting at the end of my bed, or I heard someone going to the toilet. Could it be that my restroom is not clean? Chapter 342. After hesitating for a moment, Naruto nodded. I want to practice with that sexy uncle. Naruto had his own considerations, and there were many things he wanted to know from Jiraiya. Okay. Qing gently stroked Naruto's head and looked at Jiraiya. Then Mingbao, I'll ask you to take care of the master. I will come to see you from time to time. Jiraiya gritted his teeth and said, you know, I wouldn't accept anyone who asked me to be your disciple, so why are you two so reluctant? Qing pushed Naruto towards Jiraiya. Naruto was also very sensible and took out the scroll from his bag, then unsealed a pot of sake with a small cup. Reluctantly Naruto poured out a small cup and bowed respectfully to Jiraiya, offering him sake. After Jiraiya drank a small cup, his eyes shone brightly, but he still patiently completed this simple ceremony of accepting a disciple. Qing gave Naruto some instructions, especially that he should not seal the flying thunder needle in the letter during this period and should carry it with him at all times. After getting a positive answer, I went back. After the ceremony, Jiraiya grabbed the whole pot, poured a glass and drank it all in one gulp. Crack, delicious. Where did you buy this wine? It's delicious. He sniffed a bottle mouth intoxicatedly. Fragrant. So fragrant. My uncle brewed it himself. Naruto said truthfully, my uncle always asked me to keep it with him, saying that it would be useful someday. Hard judging from the situation today, Qing gave in so easily, and with this pot of wine, he probably had been planning to force Naruto on himself one day. You or he have been separated from the silent boy for too long, and your understanding of him has always been heard from others. You haven't been together for a long time, so your impression of his personality and temper has become a little vague. Only now did they overlap again. Nothing has changed. That child really hasn't changed at all, uncle. Naruto came over, walked around behind Jiraiya, pinched his shoulders and said with a smile, sexy uncle, tell me about my uncle's childhood. That's right, this is what Naruto was thinking. What a pervert. Call me master. Jiraiya was drunk at the moment, and his shoulders were pressed with just the right amount of force. He was drunk and recalled what happened many years ago. This let me think about it. Well, As you can see, he's so handsome that I even mistook his gender. When I first met him, Minato, your father, entrusted him to me. I hesitated for a long time. On the other side, after Qing returned home, he found that everything in the house was much brighter. It was obvious that someone had cleaned it specially and carefully. He found a guest in the guest room on the first floor and knocked on the door. Sai, who had fallen asleep on the bed at some point, was suddenly awakened that he let down his guard and fell asleep without realizing it. Or maybe it was because he had seen the barrier around here before, so he couldn't help but feel at ease in this house. He raised his head and instantly woke up when his eyes met Qing's view. Then, Qing dodged. I have a fever. I will stay in bed and update it quickly before going to sleep. Good night, my dears. Chapter 343. The DNA engraved in his bones did not make Qing accustomed to being kneeled to, as he always felt that it would shorten his lifespan. Of course, it was an accident when Sai asked for help previously. After seeing Qing dodge, Sai was stunned for a moment and then changed his position. Qing also dodged. Sai followed suit. After a few cycles, Qing directly grabbed Sai from the ground and couldn't help but said, "You are really stubborn." Sai. Silence. It was only at this moment that Qing saw clearly who he had saved. Tell me, what happened? Qing carried Sai to the living room. Sai's expression darkened, and after some hesitation he spoke. Yesterday, when we returned to report, Lord Danzo was not satisfied with the results of this mission. Therefore, Danzo felt that Sai as a tool was far from achieving the effect he wanted. He knew that there was another person en route that Sai cared about, so a 2-for-1 sparring match was conducted at first. Sai thought it was just an ordinary exercise, and from time to time he told him about the scenery he saw during this mission. Until Zin rushed into his dagger and told him to live well. He caught a glimpse of Danzo leaving with a satisfied smile on his face, and then he realized something. The next moment my mind went blank. Qing's face appeared. Sai couldn't explain why, but he just came over with a letter wrote until Qing came back until the letter was rescued. It wasn't until Zin's breathing returned to normal that his tense spirit relaxed and said, "You cleaned it up for me, didn't you? If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known you vomited." He couldn't help but rub his hand on the black head. Relax, boy. The Root, a group of people who have always been in the dark of Konoha, have been trained as weapons by Danzo since childhood. Shin is Sai's only emotional support, and Danzo certainly sees this. Because he doesn't need meaningless feelings. But in Qing's current eyes, both Nobuyuki and Sai are just of the same age as Naruto and said, I want to continue to stay in the Root. I can provide you with any information you need, any information I can collect. Qing's eyes flashed, then it will be very hard for you. As long as I believe in you, nothing else can threaten me. He grew up in the Roots and has endured all the hardships, let alone the ones that will come. Qing was about to say that he didn't need it. But on second thought, even if I ask the third Hokage to get Sai from Danzo, given Danzo's bad character, he will not forgive the betrayer and might even secretly plot to kill Sai. Therefore, it is safest for Sai to stay at the Root now. Then, you should stay at the Root for now. I will inform the third generation master about your matter in advance. There is no need to be too deliberate. Just do what you need to do as usual. As long as Danzo is killed within 3 years, Sai and Nobuyuki will be free. Let Ino, Sakura and Hinata be beautiful on their own? Chapter 344. So the matter was settled the Uchiha clan before they have a falling out. I will also inform the Uchiha in advance. Yes. Sai responded respectfully. Okay, you can rest here for a while. Qing stood up and said, you can use the rooms on the first floor as you like. The second floor is full of private rooms, so don't go up. I need to go out for a while. Sai stood up and followed Qing. Yes. After Qing put on her shoes, she gently touched Zuo Jing's head. At this time, we should say, be careful on the road. The temperature above his head made Sai a little dazed. Yes. Be careful on the road. I will. Qing smiled back and went out. It was not until the door had been closed for a long time that Sai seemed to have just come to his senses. He walked to the door of the guest room where Zin was, muttering to himself, be careful on the road. Oh. It feels weird. He felt light and unreal. Sai looked at the house, every corner of which retained the breath of life. It's like every corner of the table is wrapped with cotton to prevent collisions. It's like the wall in the living room with many names, times, and lines written on it drawn above is the height of Naruto. Sasuke, Ino, Hinata, Shikamaru, Choji, and Sakura in each year. The latest one is from this year, and the handwriting is still very clear. This is a sign of the growth. There are also 3 photo frames on the cabinet. One photo shows a young Qing holding Naruto, who is still a child. One is of Qing in his current state, with Naruto, who just graduated, standing next to him. This picture was taken when Naruto graduated. There is also a group photo of Naruto and his Team 7. Looking at these 3 photos, Sai inexplicably had a feeling that Qing must have a lot of photo albums, and that photo album must record Naruto's growth trajectory. As he thought about it, Sai couldn't help but sneer out loud, "Uzumaki. Naruto. What a lucky guy." Sai didn't rest for long. Before leaving, he took a deep look at the unconscious Zin and whispered, "It would be great if he was the one who found us. Maybe we can live in the sunshine." "Not necessarily." Sai laughed at himself after saying this. "After all, they are real relatives. I'm leaving. You have to take care, brother." Hokage building and explained the situation. The 3rd generation blew out a smoke ring and looked at Qing with an indescribable look in his eyes. "I know, eh? Naruto has been found." At this moment, Qing's mood was obviously like the sun coming out after a thunderstorm. Yet Qing grinned. "What I said today is true. Snake Uncle is not interested in destroying Konoha at the moment, but if someone instigates him and offers him conditions that interest him, that may not be the case." The Sandaime stared at him, his head aching. "Where's Jiraiya?" "I don't know. I put the coordinates on Naruto and went directly to him." The child with the coordinates was taken away. "Why are you so, Naruto?" "Didn't take out the flying angry thunder needle at that time, so I couldn't locate him." "When did you learn Minato's unique skills?" "When Minato taught me. It consumed a lot of chakra. He had learned it a long time ago, but this ninjutsu consumed too much chakra for him before. During that time, he was very frugal with his use of chakra, fearing that it would consume too much and take too long to recover, delaying the mission." The Sandai understood the meaning and waved his hand to indicate that he understood. "Please pay more attention to Orochimaru's affairs for me. He has never been able to get over the fact that his most proud disciple had defected." "Qing, I'll do my best." Sandai smiled and said, "I feel much more at ease with your words. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 345. When Qing returned home, Sai had already left. The letter in the house showed no signs of waking up. Qing brought back an IV from Konoha Hospital and hung it on Zin. After all, although the external injuries have healed, the internal injuries are still there. After a while, Sasuke came. "Excuse me, brother Qing, where's Naruto?" Sasuke went straight into the house and did not see Naruto on the first floor. "Sasuke, the baby has been taken out of the village by Master Jiraiya to practice, and will not be back until a month later." Qing wiped his hands, skillfully found the blood vessel on the back of his hand, and fixed the position of the infusion tube. The whole set of movements was completed in one go. "May I ask when this happened?" "Don't blame the baby. He was kidnapped by Master Jiraiya at night." Qing did not hide anything and explained the whole story. "I understand. Thank you for telling me. I'll go back first." Sasuke glanced at the person lying on the bed and didn't ask any more questions. After seeing Sasuke off, Qing had no other plans. Just when he was about to do something, another guest arrived at Sakura and Ino. Sakura came to thank them for what happened in the Forest of Death, while Ino shook Qing's. Qing went into the study, wrote 2 letters and handed them to them. "Come on." "Yes. Thank you, brother Qing, Aking." The 2 girls left excitedly with the letters. Over the next few days, Qing's shop operated as usual, and he would occasionally visit Naruto with food he made. He heard that Sasuke was also taken to train by Kakashi. Next, Konoha will be open to the public for the final match. There are more and more tourists in the village. However, there were more ninjas coming for his shop. Qing was busy from morning till night. "Hey, have you heard? There's a really good pet shop in Konoha." "Oh, what's so strange about that?" "This store also serves psychic beasts. Go and see." However, when they arrived, there was already a long queue, and the order was quite good. "Hey, it looks like there's no show today. Why?" "Closes." Besides, they say they don't accept reservations during this period. Who is this boss? Isn't there any trouble if he does business this way? Haha, of course there aren't any, but they are all locked up in jail. Hiss. How dare you? Aren't you afraid of offending people? Look. Over there. The man looked at it and thought it might be the land of a big family. Why, that's Uchiha's territory. If you dare to cause trouble in Uchiha's territory, even the daimyo will put you in jail. Is this boss from the Uchiha family? No, but the Uchiha even lent him the land for business, so this relationship must be something special. From the mouth of the psychic beast, this made those who were still waiting a little eager to try. Especially those at the end of the line, even though they know it is not their turn today, they are still expecting a miracle to happen. However, in just a moment, a long line appeared behind the two people at the end. Chapter 346. Because Qing has been making so much noise recently, many tourists who came to watch the game ran to his side. The third generation had to send a few people to maintain order there. Similarly, the Uchiha also sent a number of people to secretly guard here, for fear that someone would cause trouble. But in the first few days, the Uchiha threw all the troublemakers into jail indiscriminately. After the news spread, everyone who came was quite well behaved. At least, those who would rather talk than use violence would never do so. But if the noise is too loud, they will be thrown out of the Uchiha patrol team. This also resulted in the fact that no matter how ferocious looking a ninja looked, he would be unusually well behaved in this long line. Of course, their purpose is not as simple as just giving their spirit beasts a bath. The main reason I go there is for the goods in the store. The news that some of Qing's products have special passive properties has spread. For example, it can allow the summoned beast to quickly restore its chakra without any other side effects. For example, a certain toxin in the spirit beast was removed. Or maybe something else that hasn't been spread. These two alone are enough to drive many people crazy. They just want to try their luck and see if they can be the lucky one who draws the passive one. Naruto was not at home during this period, so Qing delayed the closing time of the store, but there were still many people who couldn't queue up every day closed, but continued to queue up at the door, just waiting for it to open the next day. After all, we are all ninjas with great endurance. When you are in urgent need, leave a shadow clone here and come back to continue after you have solved the problem. Some people even hired people to do the arrangement, but Qing was simply too busy to handle such matters. It was not until a few days later that the unconscious boy woke up and the hunger in his stomach made him open his eyes. He was confused for a long time. So even after death, one will be hungry. Then he heard the sizzle of something being put into the pot. I slowly turned my head and saw the IV tube on the back of my hand. I heard footsteps, followed by a young man's clear voice. Awake. Only then did Zin realize that he had survived being saved under such circumstances. The light above my head was so dazzling that it made my eyes feel sore. He was helped up and given water. You saved me. He hadn't spoken for a long time, and his throat was still very dry even after moistening it with water. Yes, your brother cried and begged me. Qing asked him to lie down again. Finish the IV today first. I'll get you something to eat. If you need anything else, call me. I can hear you. Zin was about to shake his head when he felt a warm current flowing out of his body. His face changed, his whole face turned red, then turned blue and pale. Qing smelled the scent in the air and directly lifted the quill to deal with it. As usual, knew the boy's pride, so he slowed down his tone and said, "You were in a coma for a week and were almost rescued from the brink of death. It's amazing that you can wake up now." Qing first pulled out the infusion needle from his hand, took out a change of clothes from the cabinet, and left the space for the boy. "If you can stand up, the bathroom is next door." "Yes, thank you." Chapter 347. Qing heard a crackling sound, but ignored it and made porridge for Zin again. "I was humming a song, and the sound of water in the bathroom didn't stop even after I turned off the fire. The sound of fabric being rubbed was also heard." Qing took the clothes for changing and knocked on the door, saying, "The clothes for changing are here. The porridge is ready. Hurry up." Loss. Qing put the clothes on the ground. After a long time, the bathroom door opened a crack, and the clothes on the ground were taken in by hand. The clothes given to Shin were new clothes that were bought for Naruto before, but because Naruto suddenly grew taller, he didn't have time to wear them. They are about the same age. Shin is a little thinner than Naruto and his clothes are just right. He held the clean sheets and clothes, and stood awkwardly in front of Qing. "These, that, hanging. Things is in the yard. Qing pointed to the yard, where there were racks for drying clothes. Yes. Seeing Zin standing there without entering the room, she asked him, "What's wrong?" My feet are dirty. The soles of my feet were covered with mud from the yard. The house was so clean that Zin didn't dare to step into it with his dirty feet. Qing said helplessly, "It will be clean washing after it soon, let's eat first." Rice, soup, vegetables and a small stir-fried meat. It was delicious. The letter contained only minced meat porridge, which was very bland. "You just woke up, so just make do with the porridge today. I'll eat something else tomorrow depending on how you feel." It was just ordinary porridge, but Zin couldn't help swallowing as he looked at it. Brother's previous mission and the result of the mission made Lord Danzo very dissatisfied. The younger brother was punished, but now I have been saved by him. Qing saw his dilemma and said, "Eat first. If you have anything to say, eat first." Sweetness of the porridge was more delicious than anything he had ever tasted. The feeling of hunger was once again outlined. Zin was so hungry that he didn't care about anything else and just took the bowl and put the food into his mouth. His words back. He ate the second bowl in silence. "I can clearly feel the recovery of my physical strength, and my overall condition has improved a lot." After Qing finished his dinner, he wanted to take on the task of washing the dishes but was rejected. "Sit down first, I'll talk to you when I come back after cleaning up." Is the warm home in his fantasy? Am I actually under an illusion? And felt a little confused. After all, the tatami in the living room is difficult to clean because it is covered with mud. Chapter 348. Qing came back from tidying up the kitchen and saw the young man standing there, looking at the cabinet where the letters were placed. But he soon understood why. Even the owner of the house didn't mind that the boy seemed to be too straightforward about certain things. Qing took out a letter from his cabinet. "Read it first." "Thank you." Letter. He crumpled it into a ball. Just as he was about to stuff it into his mouth to destroy the evidence, a hand reached out to block it. Are you thinking you have indigestion?" Qing looked at him with some embarrassment. He snatched the paper ball from Zin's hand, formed seals with his hands, and a ball of blue flame rose in the palms of his hands. "Isn't a special period. Why would you eat something that can be burned with fire and make things difficult for your stomach?" Qing pointed and gesticulated. "That belongs to physical memory. The root, there is no longer any such person as Nobutoki in Konoha." Shin was a little dazed. He had indeed left the dark roots, but Sai was still there. "My existence, if discovered, will only bring harm to my brother." One who would survive between the two of them was his younger brother. Zin had been ill for a long time, and death was only a matter of time. "Before I die, you can ask me to do anything." Zin raised his head, with a light in his eyes. "You're doing a good job. You should take a rest today and stay in good spirits so that you can go out on time at 8:30 tomorrow." Qing patted his head. Her aqua blue hair was as smooth as it looked. "As for your health, I will ask Lady Tsunade to check on you when she returns. In order to help me, you will live here from now on. You can choose a new room. The house is big and there are many empty rooms." Qing's eyes fell on his feet. "It's okay if the floor gets dirty. Just wash it and it will be clean." A gentle voice entered his ears, and the warmth from the top of his head seemed to spread throughout his body, making Zin feel like he was soaking in a hot spring. "Thank you. I'll just stay in my original room. This house is full of the feeling of home." Living in such a house, Zin felt dazed as he lay back on the bed without knowing it, but Zin felt that he was lucky. It was because of his meeting his younger brother that he was able to retain the last bit of his humanity. Tsunade's excellent medical skills are well known throughout the ninja world, and any difficult and complicated disease is an easy matter for her. "If I can survive, to come visit me." Chapter 349. The next morning, Zin woke up at dawn. I don't know when new toiletries, clothes, indoor slippers and shoes were placed on the table beside the bed. The only thing he could use to repay was his life. But his life is worthless. Is very beautifully tidied. There are trees planted around and a large pond in the yard. The koi fish inside were all fed very fat. It was the first time that Zin saw the feeling of walking unsteadily in a fish, like a gas tank. House. Turning his head, he saw the young man who had just woken up with his long curly hair scattered and the alopecia on his head sticking up. His eyelids were still drooping and he yawned. "Good morning, did you sleep well last night?" The voice of the young man who had just woken up was still a little hoarse, revealing laziness. Lowered his head and said with a stutter, "Good morning, sir. I slept very well." "Really? That's good. This suit suits you very well." There was a smile in the young man's tone. The sun was shining on his body at this time, making him look unreal, as if he would disappear at any time. I'm going to make breakfast. How many fried eggs do you want? Qing said as she tied her hair up. Okay, can you help me feed the fish in the pond? And the little turtle, he will wake up soon. The feed is in the cupboard. Yes, please leave it to me. Turtle had woken up and floated up from the bottom of the pond. Only then did Zin see clearly what he looked like. He looked a little familiar and was definitely not an ordinary turtle. Felt that they were eating slower. Is that about it? Not sure. Zin stopped after sprinkling a little. At this time, Qing's breakfast was ready. It's milk, oatmeal and fried eggs. Very fragrant, whatever flavor you like for the fried eggs. I'll wait for you. No, is there anything I can help with? Zin couldn't feel at ease being taken care of. Qing, then help me pack it. Zin, yes. Chapter 350. Zin put on the mask that Qing handed him, still with the fox pattern, walked to a wall and said, let's go over it. After climbing over the wall, you will reach the back door of the pet shop. After successfully entering the store, Qing breathed a sigh of relief. Who knows, who is good enough to open a store so secretly? Why is it like this? To Zin Yashio, use this paper to write the number plates, from 1 to 100, and then distribute them to the customers in line. Give each person a number and have them input chakra into the number plate, so that it can be directly bound to them. This way, there is no need to worry about people who can't get a number doing things like killing and robbing. Then let 10 people in at a time. There's no need for a bunch of people to gather in this area, as it would be quite noisy to be honest. Qing took out a spare rubber band and tied up the hair that was over her shoulders. Just tell me when you're done writing. As he spoke, Qing formed seals with his hands and created 6 shadow clones besides himself. He clapped his hands and directed himself, family members, work hard today as well, return to your respective posts and prepare. Again? When will these days end? 5 of the 6 clones had decadent expressions and looked like them didn't want to move at all. The 5 of them were actually separated with different emotions of Qing. It can be seen from them that Qing really doesn't want to take this class. Okay, you can take a break after you're busy for half a month. Go, let's get moving. Qing pushed them back to their respective posts. There are only 5 indoor bathing pools, and the large pool outside is not used very often. However, when the large pool is needed, Qing himself is the one who uses it. Among the 6 clones, 1 was guarding the counter, 1 was constantly preparing bath pots and shower gels, and the rest were doing the same bathing and beauty work as Qing. There will also be some that need styling, which takes a lot of time, so Qing will create a few more clones to fill the vacant positions. Perfect and seamless use of each bathing pool is achieved. Qing's clones who was handling the shelves was staring at him. Do you need help? The shelves were filled with things, and he stood in front of the letter, looking down at it. I'm almost well. Every stroke of the letter was written with extreme caution. It wasn't until he wrote the number 100 that he breathed a sigh of relief. Ha, you're too nervous. Qing's clone covered his mouth and laughed. It's almost time, get ready to open the door. Looked back at the boy, are you ready? I'm surprised every time I see this scene. Ready. Zin was confused and stood beside him. As the door opened, Zin saw a group of ferocious-looking ninjas of all kinds with bulging veins, rushing towards him at an extremely strange speed and posture, as if they were race-walking, were also picked out and thrown to the end. All in all, it's weird and really shocking. After a while, the person who stood in front of them first cheered silently to the people behind him as if he had won a victory. The same is true for the second, third and front row people behind him. Silent cheer, to use Qing's words. How do you put it? Oh, they hurt my eyes. I received a huge sum of money. A huge gift. I am so excited. Thank you ID, Li Xianayu. The Great God certification given by my baby Wu will make up for the big gift on the weekend. Wait for me. Shout. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.